Good evening, friends. Welcome. Today, Vinod
Yes, very good evening.
as we had promised in the last episode,
We are going to discuss another poem of Alfred Lord Tennyson.
Tennyson, and this is Lotus Eaters.
This poem stands in sharp contrast to his other poem, that is Ulysses.
Last time we discussed Ulysses.
Ulysses is a very strong plea in favor of action and seeking knowledge.
But here, in the Lotus Eaters, seemingly the poet advocates inaction, enjoyment, or passivity. We'll see.
The life of indolence and lethargy. So, altogether, this poem takes us to the other extreme, whereas Ulysses is the poem for pro-action, and this is the poem to lead a life of indolence.
Well,
Now,
the island of Lotus Eaters is a mythical island.
it is situated somewhere in African island, they say.
And they say the warriors after the Trojan War, while coming back, they chanced upon this land while roaming in the seas. And once they were there, they ate some plant there, supposedly a lotus plant or any other mushroom, maybe drug, maybe. And then they were in a trance and they did not want to go anywhere after that. And Ulysses came along and then took them back to their city of Ithaca. So this poem captures that moment when the sailors reached the island of the Lotus Eaters.
Yes, and the lotus flower or fruit that was brought to them by the natives of that island, and they eat it. Once they eat it, they are under strange trance.
Well, actually, Vinodji, lotus, as it is known here in India, lotus plant is a flower,
Yes.
and it has a religious significance also. It is said to be the originating point of Brahma. That is, the Brahma is the essence of the universe, the first god.
Yes.
That,
So that is the mythical
yeah,
significance of
innovation.
this lotus.
And the botanical, that lotus plant may not be that intoxicant. It's not that intoxicant, but there is something else may be there, which is termed as lotus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, a few stanzas
Yeah.
of this poem, they go on describing this
Natural
surrounding this small land or the seashore where these all the warriors they
And
gather.
there is always afternoon in that land.
Yes.
It reminds me of the Alice in Wonderland, where it's always 6 p.m.
Here it is
evening.
almost of the time of 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and the full moon is visible in the sky, which is a rare phenomena that usually the moon is not there in the
Full
afternoon.
moon is not there in the afternoon. So it's strange. See, the surroundings are strange.
So there is everything is characterized by extreme slowness, indolence, lethargy, and as Tennyson is a metrical master,
Yeah.
he has created that mood of lethargy.
Entrancing environment he has been successful to create through his lyricism.
Right. So even the wind has almost stopped. It has come
Yeah.
to stand still, and even the water is flowing so slowly, drop by drop, that it seems that as if it's not flowing at all.
And then somebody brings them the plant of lotus, and they eat it, and everybody who eats it falls into a languor, we can say, into a trance, and everything seems distant. The voices of the fellow comrades come as if voices from the grave.
Yes. And so this is a very enchanting environment, right? The environment as if you are half asleep and half awake.
Yeah.
You are under you are feeling drowsy there, right? And all of a sudden they decide that no, we'll not go further. We'll simply sit down here and while away the time. And
After that starts the choral song,
yes,
and that is of 8 stanzas. It justifies their decision
yes,
in many ways. Stanza after stanza, they go on advancing arguments in the favor of indolence.
yes. And they simply say that human beings are the roof and crown of creation.
Yeah,
Then why should we work?
definitely. We are the first of the created things. We are the
Everything
highest.
else takes rest. For example, trees and the plants, they do not move from their place throughout their life. Where they are born, they die at the same place.
Yeah,
Even animals and the birds, they do not undertake any laborious tasks.
yes, definitely. So then why should we all death is the end of life, but why all the life should be the labor?
This is very important argument. When we know, and even out of the context of literature,
Yeah.
if you look at this argument
Yeah.
philosophically, if life is going to end in final death,
Yeah.
then all our activities, all our hard work seems to be futile. Why should we work then? Why should we achieve anything? There's no justification for that. If something is to remain permanently with us, only then it will justify that we should achieve it, we should work for it. But the death will demolish everything. And this is a very powerful argument. Then why this life be of labor?
Yeah, and the entire nature doesn't toil, whether trees, whether apples, whether flowers, they bloom and then they fall and they cease to be.
Exactly.
So then why should human beings only, who are the pinnacle of the creation, why should they waste all of their life in the toil? All these are the arguments lyrically being presented by the poem. That is the very high point. These are not, he's not writing a chapter in philosophy,
Yes.
but he's writing a poem. But still all these arguments are systematically being presented.
Exactly. He is the master of words, right?
Yeah.
His poems are characterized by high degree of lyricism.
And then they say that we remember our wedded lives, last embraces of our wives, our children, everything we remember.
Because we must remember that these lotus eaters, they were away from their home almost for 20 years.
20 years. They
10
fought
years
in
they
the
had fought in the Trojan
Trojan
War,
War.
and 10 more years they wandered
Yeah.
before they could reach their native places.
Yeah.
And they say that no, it is a long time, 20 years, much things, all the things must have changed. If they go back now, it will be of no use, because their sons and wives will take them to be ghosts.
Definitely. And perhaps they sing of their deeds, the minstrel sings of their deeds as half forgotten things.
Because these are the heroes, right, who had participated in the war,
Trojan
and
War,
their
yeah.
stories of the bravery have spread over the vast area of land, and that they have come to be regarded as the great heroes, and the minstrels are singing their brave acts in the poetry and the songs. Then if they come back alive and if people see them, perhaps their glory, their greatness would be diminished, and perhaps they will not be received with warmth and respect.
They'll be termed as ghosts.
Exactly,
right? Who have
because
come
those were the
alive.
times when the technology was not there. People could not remain in touch with one another for a very long time. So 20 years is a pretty long time. If somebody comes back, person will not be able to recognize that person by face.
And even otherwise also, this ghostly argument, if we take it generally also, many a times persons outgrow their relevance, their settings, their children, their so-called generation gap.
Even
we
they
call-
put for the argument that their sons must have taken over the responsibility
Yeah.
of their native lands,
Yeah.
and if they go back, perhaps they will disturb them. They will not be able to set the order as before.
And what is a ghost after all? As Amitabh Bhattacharya calls it, a ghost is a presence displaced in time and place. Right? Amitabh
Ghosh.
Ghosh.
Amitabh
calls-
Ghosh,
Yeah,
right?
in I think
Very
Calcutta
famous-
Chromosome. Yeah,
Yes,
he
Calcutta
calls it,
Chromosomes
yeah.
and many other novels, right?
Yeah. So he calls it ghost is a presence displaced in time and place.
Exactly, and it
So-
also reminds of Gestalt psychology, right? Something that remains incomplete continues to haunt you for the entire life,
Yeah.
and therefore it is desirable that one must put an end to the story so that the person is satisfied.
But then they see, even if we want to go back to our home and hearth, the sea is too much weary to again sail through the seas. It's too much of a toil to again sail through the seas.
And under the impact of the lotus fruit that they have eaten, right? They do not have any desire to go on voyage. They do not have the desire or the will to face the roughness of the sea and navigate back to their place.
And one more argument they give, even the noblest of the deeds, to war with evil, is of no significance, because who can always, climb over the climbing tide? It signifies that the evil is endless. Howsoever you war with it, howsoever you try to put an end to it, again it is going to increase.
And Rajesh, this is very
Yeah.
important argument,
Yeah.
because right from the beginning of the human race,
Yeah.
we have seen that there are very brave people, right? Heroes. They have always fought against the evil, and seemingly they have established the good, right?
Yeah.
But after a few centuries or after some time, evil comes back. Evil comes back with its original might. Then in such a circumstances, right? What is the utility of fighting against evil? Because after all, evil has to exist. If at all it is not going to be victorious, at least it has to exist side by side with the good.
Yeah, if you take the holistic view, the long-term perspective, evil has been there all along. The bad deeds, evil in the sense of
Yeah,
bad deeds,
they have been there.
they have been there for all along. As I have written, Vinod ji, हम तो रहे खराब जमाने के बाद भी,
Yes,
ईसा मोहम्मद और राम के आने के बाद भी.
we have always remained evil-minded, even after the preaching of great prophets like Jesus Christ,
Yes,
Muhammad, Prophet,
and Lord Ram.
Lord Ram.
I mean, people ask me, what do you think about the 10th avatar of Vishnu? I said we have already had 9 avatars.
If 9 could not alter the situation, what 10 is going to
What
do?
is going to 10 going
It's as simple as
to
that.
yeah.
So
So
this
this
argument seems
argument
to be
of
quite powerful,
yeah,
right?
powerful
If we are not able
argument,
to,
yeah,
get victory against
yeah,
evil,
yeah.
then why should we toil? Why should we work hard? Why should we waste our time and energy in fighting against evil?
And then they again say that what do the gods do? Basically, if there are gods, let us assume
Yeah.
there are gods, what do? They sit in their palatial homes, heavenly homes. They
Yes.
look down upon the earth, tiny earth. People are toiling there from birth to death. They are
Suffering.
growing wheat, vegetables, agricultural suffering, and they are praying to us like an ancient tale of wrong, with a little meaning. The words are strong, and they do nothing about it.
The
They
whole argument
enjoy,
is gods are unconcerned.
unconcerned,
They are careless of
totally.
sorrows and sufferings of human beings.
So,
And therefore, these lotus eaters said, why should we toil? We can remain as
unconcerned
unconcerned as
as
those
the
gods on
gods.
the mountain Olympus.
Yeah,
Now, critics have pointed out that
it's
Tennyson
only
here,
about the
pagan god. He's talking
gods,
about pagan god, not of the Christian god.
but there is no reason why it should be so.
Not only the Christian god, but the gods of all the religions.
All the
How
religions.
far they have been
You
concerned.
take the concept of God holistically. It's
Exactly.
very futile to confine it to Christianity as if only God is the Christian God.
All gods,
So yeah, all
right?
gods. Yeah,
Howsoever great they may be,
yeah,
at least in our imagination,
yeah.
but they have little to do with our day-to-day
Little.
sufferings and sorrows,
Yeah.
because they do not directly answer to our prayers. They do
Ye-
not alter our destiny. They do not really help us out. Only relevance of the existence of God, in my humble submission, is that it is a fictional finalism, that it gives us solace. It is a psychological support to the devotees.
Well, in my humble submission, God G variable is an infinite variable. Therefore, it is so dear to all of us because we can impose anything and everything on it as per our convenience.
So this poem, on the whole, is a powerful
And then
plea.
people they want the godly existence.
Yeah.
We are ourselves gods. Why not?
Why
We
not?
can have a godly
With all our
existence.
vices and virtues.
And after all, if we ask us very honestly what we want in life, we want peace, we want happiness.
Exactly.
That's it. So why should we toil for day in and day out? Can't we create systems where all of us can be happy and peaceful and enjoy the life?
That is really a very important discussion, but
Yeah.
very elaborate discussion, perhaps, how to bring about that order where everybody is peaceful, happy, and prosperous.
And one shade of another argument is there. What is wrong? Let it be so. What is broken? Let it be so, because it's very difficult to impose order again. Gods are hard to reconcile.
Another merit of this poem is that many of the phrases, even taken out of the context of this
Yeah,
poem,
they-
they are wonderful proverbs. They have
They-
the proverbial quality.
Definitely, they ring a bell.
Yeah, exactly. And on the whole, this poem is a very powerful plea for the life of indolence, for the life of laziness, for the life of inactivity. And in the present times, Rajesh ji, I
Yeah,
believe that
yeah.
this poem has assumed a great significance because we are caught in the sick hurry, right? From dawn to dusk, we are
Yes.
doing so many things, right? As if we do not have time at all. You ask any person, the first reply that you get from the person is, "I do
I
not
don't
have
have
time." So
Today,
this is really
in
strange.
today, I was reading a news item where in Sweden
Yeah.
they have brought in slowness as the part of their culture. It takes 2 years for any company to finalize a project, however easy it may be, however brilliant the idea it may be. And
I
they
have been
label-
wondering,
yeah.
right, all these years that if we have got the technology where we can do the things with such a rapidity,
Yeah.
then there's no need to make any type of hurry in our life. We must
Whether we
speak
should
slowly.
be relaxed,
We
slow.
must walk
No.
slowly.
Yeah.
We must talk slowly. We must not do our things with hand with a great speed, because why should we be in a
Well,
hurry?
earlier, what used to take years now happens in hours, rather minutes, rather seconds.
So that time is available to us.
Available to us. Why don't we want to just relax and enjoy the life as it is instead of toiling hard and hard and hard for I don't know for what?
So in that sense, this poem, Lotus Eaters, gives us a great message
Yeah.
that we must slow down the speed of life. And you will realize as a psychologist, right, if you slow down the speed of life, it is a great stress buster.
And there is coming slow food as contrast to the fast food, which all of us know now,
Yes.
thanks to the Western marketing of it. But now there is concept called slow food.
And in India, we have always been eating slow food because it takes almost 2 hours average to prepare a good food.
Yeah, and they say simply in Indian culture, you must bite 32 times. Every piece of chapati bread, you must bite it 32 times because you have 32 teeth.
This
Only.
capitalist discourse, right, that has brought this concept of fast life, fast food. Whether you are on the trains, whether you are on the buses, whether you
Yeah.
are on the planes,
Yeah.
you must eat and drink, as if there is no other time to eat and drink.
So this slowness, even Milan Kundera Vinodji,
Yeah,
he
this
has
is a
written a
French and a
work
Czech,
called
Czech writer.
Slowness.
So Slowness is one
Yeah,
of
in the
his
novel.
celebrated novels, right?
Yeah.
And Rajeshji, I make an appeal to you that
Ji.
someday you should also discuss
Definitely.
on this novel Slowness,
Definitely.
where he propounds the entire idea and the relevance of being slow in life.
So in this context, this poem presents a fundamental truth that we should be discreet, we should be slow, we should not be in undue hurry.
Here I will share what very important phrase that
Yeah.
I have come across
Yeah.
in the novel Slowness. What he says, that slowness is indirectly proportion to memory,
Yeah.
and the speed is directly in proportion to forgetfulness.
Yes, correct. So this metaphor of slowness, rather slowing the pace of our life, as I'm fond of saying, life cannot be and should not be lived at the speed of light.
Exactly. We have to be slow. If you are slow, you can enjoy the scenes and sights on the way.
Definitely.
So on this note,
And interestingly, as some critic has definitely pointed out, Tennyson has done what Aldous Huxley did in literature a century afterwards. Doors of Perception, when he described his experience of having LSD, so drug use. So this Tennyson has accomplished 100 years ago.
yes. So on this note, that we would make our life a bit slow. We take
Definitely.
your leave just for today. We will be back with some other discussion. Till that time, be slow.
Yeah. Namaskar.